You're listening to Coffee, Chaos, and ProdSec. I'm Cameron Walters, the application security and DevSecOps builder trying to automate the world. With me is Kurt Hendel, a battle-tested security architect with a zero-trust worldview. We turn real-world security chaos into conversations that actually matter. So grab your cup of coffee and let's travel back in time to the original recording. Coffee, Chaos, and ProdSec starts now. Welcome. We're live again. Kurt, we did it. We made it. I think we're winging it today.
Number 3.
Yeah, number three. We're winging it. We're already winging it, right? Number 3.
3 was the number I wore on my basketball jersey when I used to play basketball.
You play basketball?
I did. I used
Feels like
to
a
be
new low
athletic.
for you.
There was a time in my life, Cameron, where I was athletic, and now I'm in security, so I do better at sitting.
Gotta get yourself a stand sitting desk and then get one of those treadmills underneath, and then you can set up a little basket and you'll be just throwing hoops and meetings.
Yeah, I might get the hoop. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go on Amazon after this. But whenever I'm, I can't even talk today, man. This is gonna be dangerous. Whenever I'm ready to upgrade my stuff, you come visit Seattle, and you can help. You can consult for me. How about that?
That's fair. I love building up, a good desk setup. So take a lot of passion. I can't wait to redo mine. But we'll jump into the topic, or at least talk about it. All right, intro. Today we're doing the Gauntlet, top challenges in product security today. So we're gonna jump through. We got a jam-packed agenda. We got a bunch of different things to talk about, especially the Gauntlet. I love the title name we came up with.
It's
It's
so scary, man.
right. I wish I had like a piece of metal, like one of those metal gauntlet hands, medieval, I could throw down every time someone says something. Maybe I'll look up something I
Yeah.
can edit in.
Now you got to go on Amazon, get an Infinity Gauntlet.
It's not happening. No, sir. I don't need that.
Well,
That's
you say Gauntlet. My gamer nerd's coming out. Gauntlet Legends, man. Last time I played that was on Sega Genesis. Still have it.
such a good game. Yes, I love Gauntlet. I can't remember which one it is, but we still have it. My wife still has it. We play it together every now and then. Because it's got 2
Nice.
players. I think it goes up to 4 players. So yeah, definitely play that.
All right, you know what? I'm
multiple
living
day.
up to the name. I'm causing chaos right now because it's Coffee Chaos and
Seriously.
ProdSec time, man.
Oh my gosh, dude. You're throwing it all off.
That's right.
Yeah, I didn't even say the podcast name. Check that out. See? Winging it, dude.
You like how I slipped that one in there, right?
You slipped it in. Oh my god. All right, well, what coffee you drinking?
All right, Captain. All right, today I have an iced latte. It's La Colombe coffee. I think I had something similar in the first episode. I got another one. It's cold. It's a nice sunny, warm day, so I figured I'll go for the cold option today.
I'm still drinking the same cold brew that we make with our pumpkin spice.
Man,
what is it? Pumpkin spice syrup that my wife made. So delicious.
nice.
It's good. One of these days,
Bit
I will go to
healthier.
H Mart and get proper coffee, and then I'll throw out some weird, wacky names like you are throwing out here. I don't even know what that coffee is.
Last week I had that blue bottle coffee. I just bought 4 more bags of it instead of the espresso. I got the bold and the balanced because different flavors. I'm ready for future episodes, man.
So I'm gonna have to I don't know if you've ever subscribed to those trade, like Trade, I think it is, or there's other
Yeah, I've done
services.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get one of those so that I have a new coffee every time.
I did Trade and I've done Atlas, which they are not sponsors. They are just I am a consumer, and those are the ones I have used. Little disclaimer there.
That's fair.
I've gotten some good. Atlas was cool. It was all single origin coffee. It was all real good stuff, but man, it got to be pricey. So
It
I
does get
stopped.
pricey.
Maybe I'll go back to it one of these days.
Yeah, my biggest problem was the bags were just so small for how much you're paying, and I was like,
Yep.
I don't know if I can keep doing this with how much
Mhm.
coffee my addiction is.
Yeah, you're paying for that high quality.
True that.
But my caffeine addiction gets expensive too, so I scaled back.
I mean, how many you drink like multiple cups a day? I have 1 cup of coffee a day. Like today, Friday is when I have 2 cups because I have 1 when I get up, got to get that
Man.
cup going, but 2 is like my max.
I'm at 3 a day. That's my max.
And a bad day is like 6.
No, I don't. We got rid of the pot of coffee. I would make like 12 cups of coffee, my wife would have like 2 and the rest would be me and I would finish it.
Oh,
So it got bad for a time, but now I've scaled back. 3 cups is the max. I'm very mindful of my caffeine intake and the addiction. It's there. I get headaches if I don't have it, but I'm trying to scale back further to 2 cups plus a green tea. I almost
mm,
brought a green tea today and I just wanted to see your reaction, but I didn't. Maybe we'll save that chaos for a different day.
don't do that, dude. Don't do that to me. That's
All right,
brutal.
fine. I'll live up to the name. I'll keep the coffee. Anyway, I'm still causing chaos. Look at this. I'm gonna stop. Turn it back over to Cameron. Get us back on track, man.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of the Gauntlet, right? Can you like what comes to mind when this title? What does that mean to you? Why are we talking about the Gauntlet of ProdSec?
I mean, when I think Gauntlet, I feel like I think about like video games, man. Gauntlet Legends. You're going through like battles and you hit these obstacles and the bad guys and whatever. So you're hitting challenges and you're working to overcome them constantly. And that's kind of the world we operate in. Well, it's not kind of the world we operate in. It is the world we operate in. Um, Product security is challenging. There are numerous challenges. There are always new ones. Sometimes they're the same, sometimes they're different. Um, do some pattern recognition, but at the end of the day, what we do is we fight our way through a gauntlet constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely. And if you think back, like, I don't know, I always look back at the Verizon reports every now and then and, throw them all into some kind of AI aggregator, throw multiple years, and you kind of see the trends.
Yep.
But my point is that, you know, AppSec or ProdSec, like vulnerabilities related to that are just increasing like crazy, right? Like you still hear people getting, popped by phishing and let's not jump
Yep.
into the, this week, right? This is, I can't remember what week this is. It's September 19th when we're recording. So this week, some stuff went down in the open source world, but let's not go there yet. Like, there's a ton happening, and the vulnerabilities, attack vectors, things we have to think through and secure are happening more and more in ProdSec rather than in the
Yep.
traditional like what a SecOps team would handle, right? Like your company CISO or this random, what's her name got or his name got phished in XYZ department. Like those are on the down. We're starting to really nail those down with the phishing campaigns and how complex and good they are, as well as the tooling to detect those
Yep.
types of common vectors still happening, but way less. And now we're starting to see that shift head in another direction.
Yeah. I mean, product has really taken over because at the end of the day, everyone has a software product these days. Some are internal, some are external, some are both. Um, and it's AppSec is extremely important. It's a big part of product security. On the architecture side of things, I'm looking at all the different domains, and like I read the 2025 Verizon report a few weeks ago. Identity was a big one on there, and it has been. The report's kind of cool now. They show the trends. I think for the past 5 years, and identity's been up there, but now you see vulnerabilities are catching up quickly.
Yeah.
And so the applications, the products that all of these companies are putting out in the world are front and center because exploits are only becoming more common, vulnerabilities are becoming more common. AI has put it on steroids.
Yeah. I mean, we've transitioned from a world of, paper and money and more, transactions done in a digital way. Right. And
Yeah.
so I think that's something that a lot of people are either waking up or have realized for a long time is that everything you do, everything comes back to somewhere in a software way. Right.
Yep.
Which always comes back to ProdSec.
Yeah. I mean, it's become a more call it holistic or comprehensive, whatever your favorite word is. Um, it's a more kind of full blown approach to security. It combines the architecture, it combines the applications, it combines vulnerability management, even the operation side of things. Like operations, a big part of it is detection and response. And even now, like in recent years, you're shifting to that more proactive, like just prevent. And so our SecOps teams aren't getting murdered with alerts or just completely obliterated with just nonstop information to respond to. They can't keep up. And frankly, you can't afford to hire an army of 100 people to respond to everything.
I mean, I wish. Soon
Yeah, I
you're gonna
mean, that
have
would be
what,
nice.
100 AI agents doing it, right? They're all gonna replace your
Yeah.
SecOps team.
Well, they're not going to fully replace your SecOps team. I think human in the loop is still important. We don't have to go down the AI rabbit hole. I think that'll be its own future episode, but we'll get there.
True. True. So, but yeah, I mean, the threat landscape is heading towards a ProdSec, right, kind of dominance. I know internally, in what I've seen, right, is that, if you look at risk and I talk to other people, their risk registers or their risk, however they plot their charts about what risk goes in what category, like you'll see open source going in that direction, OSS related, third party libraries, open source or operating systems related to your product environment, containers, right? Threat attack vector, architectural issues, software architect, issue related, all of that stuff is moving upward, whereas corporate stuff, phishing, the OS, Windows 11 server or Windows servers need to be upgraded, or Linux servers need to be upgraded, or whatever firewall rules have to be added, right? Those kinds of categories are shifting downward because I think we got it. We've been spending so
Yeah,
much time on it.
we're getting better at doing those things like patching. I know patching is still a sore spot for a lot of people in the world today, but there's technologies in place that make that easier. Phishing simulations. Some of the new ones, like, wow, they
We were
look
just
real.
talking last episode how you got popped.
I did get popped because I'll name him Quinn. If you know Quinn, I mean, you know somebody. He got me. He was told to catch a bigger fish, and I guess, like I said, I took the compliment. I was the bigger fish, and he got me. But even now, like since then, like they've even gotten more real. It's crazy.
Definitely. All right.
But that's besides the point. We've had some big ones this week,
We have.
especially related to that OSS. And I mean, let's call it what it is. The supply chain is under attack.
Yeah. Yeah. Or one could say a supply chain nightmare.
Yeah, it is a bit of a nightmare. I mean, it's keeping a lot of people up at night.
Oh man, I mean, for me, supply chain has always been a passion for me around securing it. It's been a frustrating thing for as long as I can remember. In AppSec, it's like this weird gray field that everybody I talk to and how they secure it, everyone feels icky, right? Because there's just no real good way to properly manage your supply chain. I feel like we're all just throwing bandage after, like, it's like your window and you only have 5 planks and you're like, I'm trying to cover up the window so the zombies don't come in. And you're just like, I don't have enough planks. And that's how it feels. Like, I'm going to move it this way. Nope, doesn't work. I'm going to move
Yeah,
this way. Doesn't work. Nothing is working. Please, somebody help me. It's
to
how it always
maximize your
is.
coverage.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. You always got holes because, I mean, it was it the XKD or whatever it is, picture with the little thing at the bottom is like our entire world open source package. That one little pin just holding everything up, and it's so true. There's so many
Yeah,
packages out there. Everybody's using. These things are not well funded. They're not well secured. It's not like these people are really that incentivized. I mean, I could be exaggerating here. Probably am, but it is still a major thing, and everybody just kind of accepts that there's some level of risk around that. And what have we seen over the last couple of years? Log4j, right? Xutils, TJ actions. I mean, just the one this week, the Shilahood worm. Last week it was a different npm. It was it PX or something? I can't remember who the person who got owned, and you know
yeah.
at least they came out with it really very quickly.
That was a fish.
Yeah, fish right there, right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, exactly. Still can happen both ways. So,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, we're gonna. It's weird. I'm disappointed to be talking about the same kind of like attack vector in 2 episodes in a row, right? Because
yeah.
but it's that's what's happening. Everybody's having to think about this, right? And then everyone I talk to, right? I just came back from the cybersecurity meetup I host locally with other cybersecurity professionals, and what did we do? We sat down and we talked about this npm packages and all the different problems that were happening, and everybody always brings up the one name, and I think it's funny, and I think it's because they're such a prominent player, and that they had a recent incident that impacted a lot of people, even outside of cybersecurity, CrowdStrike.
Yep.
They had their, and they were part of their package, and now they're just, everyone's
Yeah.
latching onto their name. I think it's a little unfair for them because they're like 6 packages or something. I'd have to look at the exact number
I
again.
think it was like
Out of like,
20.
yeah, it was like, yeah, it was some number, but it was over like 100, over 150, 180 plus npm
Yeah.
packages that have been compromised that are still coming out. Right, we're still finding more,
Yeah.
and they were just one and done. But titles are attacking, using that probably because better clickbait. But it's
Of
pretty
course.
crazy.
I mean, I've had people reach out and customers even, they're like, CrowdStrike packages, like that's a concern, and you have to like reassure them, like we don't use CrowdStrike in our software, man. Like, come on now.
Yeah, that
So
should
you're
be the first
fine.
question, right? Do you use
Yeah.
CrowdStrike?
It's just like everyone's running so fast and so nervous around all of these risks that come out. It's almost it hits the same way that a 0 day hits, and all of these packages that are being compromised. And well, how do you deal with that? Like, if you're moving fast in the world today and you truly practice DevSecOps and the CI/CD and the rest of it, or you're pulling packages and keeping your dependencies updated and deploying to production, there's a high chance that you get compromised via a vector like this. I mean, we saw SolarWinds was a different flavor of this entirely, where it was a persistent threat that was just buried for so long and then came out. But now, if you compromise the packages directly, then it's a big bang, right? Because the more people who pull it in, the more you compromise. And if it's a backdoor, game over.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
but
but
the
this
way
is,
it drops, and it's just like panic ensues.
it's so true. And I mean, I don't know how much you dived into to what it does, but it's really fascinating. And what it
Yeah.
also makes me think about is, I think last year or the year before, I go to LastCon because I'm in Austin, Texas,
Yeah.
and at LastCon we have our local OWASP conference that has like over 100, over like almost 500 people or something like that. And there was a speaker there who was talking about this, like talking about. I mean, well, first let me ask you this: how many pipelines that people you have, right? They've set up their software pipelines. Do you think they have AV set up in those pipelines, right? And I'm just thinking here, right, that a lot of these attack vectors that are emerging, that are coming for areas where maybe AV is not, EDR isn't, right? And that's kind of what this thing
Right.
does. It does, right? It attacks your supply chain. You install the package that clones the worm, and then the worm installs like truffle hog or something and
Yeah.
scans it, right?
Finds
That,
credentials.
yeah, finds credentials. And it's like a reoccurrence of TJ actions. TJ actions looked for credentials,
Yep.
base encoded them into your actions logs. So if, for anybody who's not technical, right, it found credentials and put them in a spot and cleverly hid them so that somebody could scour the internet and find those credentials. This one is just doing it 10 times better, right? Trufflehog's
Yep.
open source tool is a really good credential findings tool, and now they're weaponizing that. That's an open source project that is out there for the good and is now being weaponized.
Yep.
I don't know what the implications of that. It's terrifying. It's, I mean, it's a demonstration of how good their tool is.
Yeah, I mean, we always see this in the industry, though, and I mean, you see it in gaming too. People find ways to exploit things for gain. They want to accelerate their progress. They want to win faster, better, be stronger, whatever. So they find a sort of weak spot in, or they find a powerful sort of tool like this, like Truffle Hog, and they use it to their advantage. Like, no one thought to use it that way. That's why attackers are crafty and hard to keep up with. They are the definition of thinking outside the box, right? Like, they understand how something works, they pick it apart, and then they go after it in a way that no one's suspecting. And that's why there's a weak spot there, because no one thought of it before. And now you've got to react and close. And that's, I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we have jobs.
Yep. True, true.
Yeah.
But back to what I was trying to say was that, like, I was at LastCon, and there was this presenter talking about how we need to have EDR tools, tools
Yeah.
that scan our pipeline technology for malicious things that are happening, like worms, like viruses, like these different things. And at the time, I was like, I mean, I see your point there. I kind of see it, yes and no. Like, in theory, your supply chain is supposed to be a little more, busts, but we're all
Yeah.
trying to go faster. Everyone's trying to build that CI/CD, and if these watering hole attacks of or all the package we're installing and they don't get caught early, boom, yeah, your pipelines are getting popped, and that is interesting. It's really changed my whole thought process to being like, yes, we need it. And as somebody who's building me and my other code leader for
The
our
OWASP
OWASP
project.
project, yeah, I already had malware in there, but now we were just like 2 nights ago. We meet every Wednesday, and we were debating, is it a level 1 control or a level 3 control? We put it at
Yeah.
level 3 because we are like, most companies this might be difficult, but we also have to think about where is it headed, right? We were like, so we're thinking maybe we got to put this as a level 2 control that somebody should think about sooner, maybe even a level 1 control, because are these attack vectors going to keep happening? Are they going to keep increasing? Do people really need to step up their pipeline security? I mean, these attack vectors indirectly, I think once we release our official 1.0 version that's coming out soon, I wonder if the adoption rate will increase once we start actually marketing it, because everybody's going to be like, yeah, we need some kind of standard that tells us how to secure our pipelines.
There you go. And that's why the project exists. People need this guidance. You guys are making it official. But to the question around, like, I guess, malware scanning. If you ran a common malware scanner today that has a high detection rate, or call it best of breed, if you ran one of the best of breed malware scanners in the world today in your pipeline, which it's probably not designed to do that, so you're going to have to get crafty in how you do that to start with. But for the sake of simplicity, let's say you figured that out already. If you ran that on these packages, would it detect the compromise?
I mean, I don't think it would detect directly. I do think that once the malware started to execute, it might look a little sus, right?
Okay.
Because they did some sus stuff in there. How
Yeah.
sus? I don't know, right? Now that it's known, right? The difference
Right.
is that once that IOC and that your AV gets the indicator of compromise, I gotta keep
Yeah.
remembering we gotta spell out things.
Builds builds a
Uh,
pattern and a
yeah,
signature.
yeah, then it propagates that out. So then you're essentially at least hardened at execute, right?
Right.
But by then you have your AppSec team, or a security team, whoever you have at your company is starting to know about those packages and it's going around, which comes back to the other thing, right? Sure, yes, as you were saying, right? If you set it up, would it detect it? I think yes, right? Because it depends on how weird it's being, right? If you
Yeah.
look at like CrowdStrike and Sentinel-1, like I'm familiar with those tools. Like if you did some weird stuff, it usually flagged it. Would it shut it down? That's the question. I don't know, but it
Yeah.
would maybe I feel like it would flag an alert.
Well, that's good. I mean, it means the standard tooling in the industry is built to help in this space. But I think there's now we're looking at different ways that we have to use it. I've seen this challenge too elsewhere, where, I mean, even before these supply chain attacks happen, you have people uploading data to solutions or data files, and everyone's like, well, do you scan those files for malware when they land in S3 or wherever you're
Oh
putting them?
gosh.
And a lot
Don't
of people
open
are
that
just
can of
like,
words.
nope.
Don't open that can of worms.
Oh, it's another
Taking in
attack
data
vector.
is literally the scariest thing.
And we're talking
Uploading,
about the Gauntlet, man.
I
This could
know,
be a
dude.
boss
It is
fight.
literally the scariest thing. It's just like one of the AppSec things. I hate it. It is one of the this just the most frustrating thing, because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, right?
Yep,
Because no
that's where I'm
matter
going.
what, right? You're literally screwed. Oh my gosh, dude. There's so many debates I've had to securing this all the time. I'm
Yep.
like, do we really have to upload? Can we
Yeah.
not have them upload, please? Please, let's not have them upload, because the
Yeah.
whole chain of like that you're interacting with that is just like one bomb after another, that you're just like, all right,
Yep.
we have to slap on as many controls as possible. It is terrifying taking in like an executable, and it could be
Yep.
anything, right? We were like debating like, what about a txt file? And I'm like, yeah, that feels pretty safe. And then you'll go read like 5 articles how somebody weaponized like some kind of txt file by making it impersonate a txt file, and you're just like, wow, okay, a normal text file is terrifying too.
Well, it's like the simplest things. I mean, again, attackers are crafty. They're trying to find ways to make things look normal and then ultimately defeat the system. So think about, like, even physical pen testers, they'll go drop USB keys in the parking lot that are loaded with malware. So the second someone plugs it in, it's like game over, you lost because I'm in. It's like I went to a talk at RSA conference a few years ago where the guys that started Black Hills Security were talking about how they pen tested a prison, and the guy used his mom, like she acted like a cleaning lady, and took a USB key all the way into the warden's office, just plugged it in and left. That was it.
Wow.
Done.
Owned. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's like you know, you think these things are only in the movies. They're not. Like there is you hear about them in the real world and you're like, "Whoa, man. Like I didn't think I would ever run into that scenario." Or we've all kind of taken back to the NPM thing that happened this week. We take it for granted. We just think that there's all these OSS maintainers out of the goodness of their heart that with more eyes on, they're going to catch these security issues. They're not.
No,
And
there's no
so
security
now
fairies.
right. The industry is going to have to shift to find ways to deal with it, whether it be every consumer of these packages find a way to protect themselves against it before it makes it to the runtime. Because the runtime, honestly, is the last place you want to detect it. You want to
Yeah.
stop things before they get there, because if they execute, I mean, all hands on deck, SecOps incident, have fun. You're not going to sleep tonight. That's the case for 0 days, for supply chain nightmares, all of it. Um, but do we, and where I'm going with this is, do we instead shift from that mentality and putting it on all the consumers to figure out ways to do it and everyone does it differently? Is there a way we can standardize on the maintainer side of things such that these projects have a mechanism in place to detect these sorts of things and prevent them? Like, say, we detected a compromise, now stop that version from going out, remove it, whatever it may be.
Yeah, there's already things like that, right? Like these npm packages, once they're uploaded, just like the one that we were dealing with last week, the packages were only up for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Because from when he realized when they realized they were compromised, they had notified npm, and then npm takes down the packages and then pins the safe versions, and so then
Right.
everybody pulls that. So there are definitely mechanisms to as a community we can handle that way. Now, if you're saying like, can they use some industry adopted tools to scan their code and things like that? I don't know, dude. There's
Six
a lot of
hours is a
open
long
source
time,
stuff.
man. A lot can happen in 6 hours in the world we operate in. Like I said, AI is making everything faster.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that, like, and we talk about this with our SecOps people all the time, like mean time to detect, mean time to resolve, like, and we expect those numbers to be in on the order of seconds to minutes. So 6 hours, like, get out of here.
Yeah. I mean, but how do you do that, right? These are
It's
volunteer.
a
Most of the
novel
package,
problem.
yeah. There's no good way to handle it from a company side and from the maintainer side, right? Like I was just debating this with my team today. Like, do we start to issue, a certificate pinning and pin always a version behind and wait a month, right? Or
Yeah.
what are the precautions of that, right? What is the level of overhead do we have if we wait, months before we upgrade? You know, what are the thresholds, right? If there's already a known critical and the newer version has
Yeah.
that fix, do you adopt it right away? Do you still wait a week, or do you adopt it
Yeah.
right away, right? What do you do there, right?
Now
Every
you're way, like, there's multiple dimensions to it, and you're like,
Yeah.
what's where do I get the most bang for my buck? Like, I'm putting myself at risk in a different way. Like, solve one problem, create another, right?
Uh-huh.
Like,
Exactly.
where do the trade-offs end? Like, you end up in a place where you you can't win.
Just don't use open source. Right?
Yeah,
There you
okay.
go. Don't use open source. Boom. 90% of your problem's done, and now you have to only focus on 10%, which is the code that you actually wrote.
Yeah. Any engineer developer who was watching this just closed it. Said, Cameron, I'm done with you.
I'm out. I lost all cred.
Wow.
I mean, it comes back to like the whole thing of like, I'm gonna unplug, right? The safest system is something that's not on the internet, right?
It's like, just put it in a concrete box and sink it to the bottom of the deepest trench in the ocean. That's secure. You can't use it, but
Yeah,
it's like
it's
computer,
perfect.
unplug it. Can't use it. It's secure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. There's a level of risk that we all accept, and in the AppSec world, we have to deal with this, right? And how do you deal with it, especially with the transitive dependencies, right?
Yeah.
What happens there is one of the also most of the terrifying things, right? Is that transitive dependencies are one of the ones that do not like they're the slowest to get upgrades. So then you'll have this critical that you have zero upgrade path. Most often you don't have some kind of mitigating control that can help manage it, right? What do you do there? But what happens when an open source package that you rely on relies on an open source package that package relies on open, right? And you have this huge dependence
How
tree.
many layers deep do you
Yeah.
go in the chain?
Yeah, and even if each one takes 2 or 3 days to push out their thing, you're still waiting 20 something days before and you're sitting there with a critical or a high, right? Because everything's a critical or high. What do? You don't use open source. There you go. Boom. Problem solved.
Yeah, and well, if only that were realistic.
Yeah, then
But,
your company's 20 years late and you don't have a company anymore. So
and you have the biggest budget you can ever imagine to buy closed source everything, and when they have a vulnerability, they're toast, and you can't win.
no, you can't win. You can't win. So
Yeah, so we've talked a lot about supply chain. Should we talk
what?
about some of the other things in the gauntlet?
Yeah, well, there's one other thing I want to button this up because we were debating this at the meetup, which was, people were like, "What about S bombs? Wouldn't S bombs solve this?" And I was like, "No, they wouldn't. They
They'll help
literally,
you find it faster.
they.
That's
I
about
mean,
it.
we've been like the thing about S bombs is we've essentially been in the cybersecurity
So
world, been
you got to
doing S
define
bombs for
SBOM
years.
for the people.
Uh, Software bill of materials. It is
Yes.
essentially a giant list of most of the time all the open source code you use. And people want that, especially because it's a U.S. government mandate. They said that you have to start supplying this, and people request it. You have to request it. I think it's already into effect. I don't know. I can't remember. I just know that we do it.
Yep.
But a lot of people are like, well, won't that solve your issue? And I'm like, we've been doing SBOMs forever, right? The only
Yep.
the difference that's with SBOMs today is there's a nice standard format. Now there are ingesters. Now that it's required, it's just more formalized. But an AppSec program, an SCA, software composition analysis tool, essentially already was doing
Yep.
everything in an SBOM. So we've already been doing it. And if it was supposed to solve our problems, why wouldn't it solve our problems 10 years ago? SCA has been around here for a long time. So no, it'll, if anything, it'll just alert customers or whoever's ingesting the SBOM. They'll just know about it sooner, which I guess more in the know is always a good thing. But it's not a problem solving tool. It's a more of an information tool. Inventory.
Awareness, informative, lets the customer say, "Oh, we're vulnerable, so I'm going to go ask the vendor, what are you doing about this?" And I mean, on this supply chain attack, the Shai Hulud worm this week, I have seen frequent updates from vendors like Sneak, and
Yep.
I think it's because of vendors like that are staying on top of it and keeping the rest of us in the industry informed. They're taking the steps to try and proactively help everyone overcome it
Yep.
and manage it, which is it's great to see. It's like open source on steroids. It's
Yeah.
not just the community, but now it's major vendors are supporting it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have to. To button up this, because I want to jump to a different one. You figure out which one you want to jump to. But one thing that I'm seeing a lot of vendors build, which I'm absolutely loving, is they're building custom dashboards or views or reports that are called like O-day reports, so 0-day reports, right? And so when something breaking is happening, a lot of these tools will, like, once they pick it up, within X amount of time, they suddenly have a dashboard showing that, and it's a curated view of all known, and it's updated as they find information, which is really cool. Because before, what we would have to do as an AppSec team is just search. We'd have to search for those packages, and all of us are like, you get these 5 packages, you get these 5, you get those 5, and we're just scrambling looking for them. Right now, they're just in the dashboard in a UI. You can select by one. They often keep the breaches that were previously happened. So vendors, if you don't have that, build it. It's awesome. We
Yeah.
love it. It's extremely useful. Make sure your tool shine. If you already have it, make other people know about it, brag about it, show it,
Absolutely.
tell your customers about it. Like, it is really cool and really useful. It helps a lot. So yeah, yeah. I don't know which one do you want to jump to now.
No, we've got our little list off to the side here of things we could potentially talk about. We've already talked about a few of these. So like we supply chain we focused on because of Shy Hulu this week, but also 0 days have come up, and I think a lot of people know what a 0 day is it's a novel vulnerability. So I mean those are common. They make us all freak out same way that we've just been talking about. So I don't think we have to go into 0 days unless you want to. You stop me here if you want to go to
Nah.
0 days. DevSecOps pipeline chaos is another one we have on our list that we could talk about, and this is Cameron's specialty because he loves the chaos and he loves DevSecOps. It also might grind his gears.
Oh, I
So
mean, pipelines are always something, dude. There's something else. I mean,
they are something else.
I love seeing code go from inception to delivery. I think that's what everybody. I don't know. As a former dev, my favorite part was seeing code being used, like the code I wrote
Yeah,
being used. So, but at the same time, I like writing secure code. So, a pipeline that manages that properly is really fun to see. And then every company I go to, I have to learn how this company is doing it, revise how to do it, and then how do I embed security into that while reducing friction, right? So as security professionals, if you're in the DevSecOps, first and foremost, devs are really smart. As an industry, it's a Cameron thing. Stop saying devs don't care about security or they're dumb or anything like that. I hate every time I hear when people say that. It annoys the crap out of me because every dev I've met is so smart. So,
yep.
um,
You don't know what they're dealing with. Take a minute to try and understand it.
yeah, put yourself in their shoes, dude.
Yeah,
It's crazy. It's crazy. So, but beyond that, working to build a team partnership, right? We're
yeah,
devs and security are the same side of the, same coin, different sides. We're all trying to build a secure product and make sure that our company succeeds. I'm sure we have conflicting and sometimes, we butt heads, but that's where the actual passion, the creativity and the time that we need to come together and build some frictionless technology to prevent these types of issues. So I mean pipelines, they're I mean more and more becoming used, right? Especially around, all the AI code, everything we're
yeah,
delivering. As the we were just talking about the worm. So all your software needs to have these pipelines that are heavily secured and heavily managed. The problem is, and this is one thing that at me as an AppSec person frustrates that a lot of companies that go to, is having multiple pipeline technologies. A lot of
yeah,
people think that that's not that complex of a challenge, but it's actually a really big challenge, especially if you have two different technologies. If you have like GitHub and like Jenkins or is it Team City or no, Circle CI is one I was thinking, like Circle
yeah,
CI and like any one of those. They all have their nuanced differences, and AppSec teams are usually and security teams are usually much smaller than the devs or the DevOps teams. Building security into each one is like you have to have your own specialized team because now you have to learn two different major technologies, and these aren't simple technologies, right? They are difficult, they have nuances. Integrating each of your tooling has different meanings. You have to understand each person's pipeline, and hopefully the pipelines are standardized and built in a way that makes there's consistency. If there's not, if you have 100 inconsistent pipelines, now you have 100 different pipelines you have to integrate your stuff. At that point, the question comes in, do I even embed my security tooling into their pipeline, or do I build something, in line or out of line that just scans and
yeah.
uploads to the UI, right? And how often, even if you scanned every time they released, would it be useful? Would the alerts be even looked, or are you just creating noise and overhead?
Like we just went through a gauntlet right there.
Yeah, it's
DevSecOps
brutal.
pipeline, it's parallel to a gauntlet. I mean, you're running through the gauntlet. I think the important thing you just kind of talked about though is frictionless. You mentioned frictionless, whereas most people view security in a pipeline as additional friction.
Mm,
So now you're trying to strike that balance of how do I insert security into the process and make it simple or even transparent to a degree, because right, you don't want critical vulnerabilities going to production, so that's probably something you want to block in a more mature organization. Versus one of the statistics we kind of have seen in this space is more than half of organizations out in the world knowingly deploy vulnerable code.
Yep.
And so that's why these vulnerabilities become so common and get exploited and are such a major issue in the world today because devs are under time pressure constantly. And I think that's one of the things that security teams don't often take time to understand. Like, we are actively adding more to their plate where they're already under so much pressure to deliver that it and this is why they get stressed and they push back and they say no. Whereas if we take the approach that we both try to take in our daily lives of, hey, I'm here to help you. Like, I want to be part of your team and help you succeed on this so that the organization is safer, so your code is better, and we all win in the end, right? That's the name of it, the game. Um,
So true.
and I mean, I don't know what else to say about DevSecOps pipelines other than go check out Cameron's OAuth secure pipeline verification standard in the future.
Yeah, when it gets out, the SPVS. So we're an
That's
official
right.
project. So hopefully we're soon. I mean, by the time these episodes go out, it should be already out. So
Yeah.
it should be already
Well,
there on the site with 1.0. So we are on track to deliver.
all right, Captain. Well, you're often the keeper of time. So, do we have time for one more, or do we gotta get on to grinds my gears?
I would say grinds my gears if you have anything you want to grind your gears.
I mean, I can turn one of the topics that I think is near and dear to both of us into something that grinds my gears. So I'll take the first crack. And what grinds my gears is when people build APIs that are unauthenticated and internal only, and they say those are secure. Like, no, they are not. Just because they're internal does not mean secure. Just like if you ask me about AI and all of the gripes I have about it today, this grinds my gears too. If you run a local MCP server, just because it's local doesn't mean it's secure. So stop thinking that, people.
I mean, why? So explain to me why a unsecured internal API is insecure, right? It doesn't go over the wire or over the internet, right?
It doesn't go out on the internet, but I mean, insider threats are very real. They're one of the hardest things to address because we're sitting here educating our users like, don't be bad people. But if you catch someone on a bad day and they get fired and want to do something malicious and get themselves into legal trouble, I mean, we see this in the news occasionally that they'll do it. And when you have an unauthenticated API just sitting there, it means there's no identity associated with the request. You have no idea who fired it off. So if you have 5,000 people in your company, they have access to that API and they might be able to blow up production systems. Now your SLAs are at risk, your contracts are at risk, your customers are at risk, and so is their data. So every stinking API, I don't care where it lives, whether it's inside, outside, it could be in your house. Authenticate it.
I mean, it comes back to what we've been doing for years, right? HTTP versus HTTPS, right?
Yeah.
Years ago, this same thing was happening. Why do I need to do that? Now, what, 99% of traffic is HTTPS, right? Which is the
Yep.
secure way. I mean, the S at the end means secure,
Encrypted.
encrypted. So why wouldn't you do that too, right? Is there a massive overhead or coding challenge to implement secure APIs?
Nope. Most of the libraries you get today, like, well, one, you could make it rely on the server. It's a server level configuration. So it's just like, oh, I can only communicate via encrypted channels. So I'm going to do that. You set your cipher suites, which set them for perfect forward secrecy. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox there. I had that conversation recently. That was fun. Um, but it's protect everything. So encrypt your traffic because you don't want someone reading it, intercepting it, modifying it, man in the middle attacks. They are still very real, even with encryption. It's possible. It's hard. It's not a common attack vector, but it's theoretically possible. And then authentication is extremely important. One, to protect access to only those who are supposed to have it, because principle of least privilege. Throwing out all these security buzzwords, man. It's fun.
Where's the
Don't give
defense
more
in depth?
access. That's we're kind of outlining it right now. Um, Way to throw another one in there. See what you did there. But anyway, authenticate your APIs so you know who's allowed to call them, so you know who's calling them. If you have something, if stuff hits the fan, keeping it PG here, um, you know what happened. You can put it all together. And I mean, that's my story, man. And I'm sticking to it. What
That's
grinds
right.
your gears?
What
A
grinds my
lot.
gears? I mean, a lot, right? I think I'm gonna go off what I was kind of grind is a really annoying me today. I was talking with a vendor, and they just deployed this like new feature, and it's really cool. I was like, this is an awesome feature. I'm stoked about this. It's got an amazing dashboard. I'm gonna use these metrics. The information is really useful, but they always translate it back to risk score. And I'm just like, I'm so annoyed about that. It drives me crazy because everybody defines risk score different. In this vendor, they allow you to adjust your risk score.
Oh, boy.
And so now I'm like, okay, now I have to
What's the
assume,
point?
yeah, I have to assume everybody, literally everybody in the world, every tool, everything I see now, I'm gonna think in the back of my mind like, oh, that risk score is adjustable, right? So is it red because it means critical? Is it red because it means high? Like, why is a 580 a red, and why is a 980 red, right? Like, why are they both red? I don't understand. Like, I'm trying to understand my brain here. For those people who are not too technical in CVEs or are, right? Normally, CVEs come in, and so that's common vulnerable. What I can't remember what it is. Exploitation, enumeration, or weakness, or something.
Enumeration, I think,
I
is the
think it's
E.
enumeration, right? I don't know.
We take these acronyms for granted,
Oh
man.
my gosh,
CVE,
so
vulnerability.
many, so many, right? The score is usually like critical, high, medium, or low, with a score of like, either 10 is the highest, that would be a critical, and zero, that's often informational. And then like, there's common ranges that is an industry we've accepted, but it's kind of shifting because, again, as we've talked before, every vulnerability coming in is always a critical or high. But now vendors are like, well, now we need to add risk score because, like, what is a critical, right? It can't be a critical. So if we put it on a risk score scale of 0 to 1,000, 10,000, whatever you decide, 1 through 100, 1 through 10, again translating it back to where we were, like, what's the point, right? When
Yeah.
someone looks at this, what's the first question they ask, especially a non-technical person, a non-person who doesn't work with this tool day in day out? Is this a critical? Is this a high? That's what they're going to ask. This is literally what they're going to ask.
The
So
simplest
just,
terms.
yeah, there's a reason we've been using those terms. I think you can directly translate those things directly back and still be very effective.
Well, you throw all these fancy numbers at me, and I was a math and science whiz kid once upon a time. I was like, what's the math behind that? Like, what's your equation? How are you calculating that? Is it based on this is the exploitability probability times whatever magical number plus three, four,
I mean,
five?
sometimes it's all above. The vendor I was looking at, one of my favorite parts is they do all that above. They look at, like you set a score of where it sits.
Jeez.
If it's on the internet, you assign it a score. If it's this, if it's not,
Oh,
then it
man.
looks at if it's exploitable, if it's in the EPSS, if it's got open, known attack vectors. What other threat intelligence are people
Wow.
searching it? Right? If people are searching it a lot, it increases the score because that means people are curious, and maybe it's got a higher likelihood
Yeah.
of exploitation. Right? So all those numbers are bundled into that, that 1 through 1,000 score,
Mm.
which is amazing, right? Underlying technology,
Yeah,
what they're doing, it is awesome. I love it.
that's
It's great.
very
I
interesting.
understand. Yeah. But I'm not going to take a 1 through 1,000 or a 1 through 1,000 number to my executive and be like, hey, this vulnerability scored is a 99 or a 900. And they're going to be like,
Is
Cameron,
that
what does
good?
that mean? Can you stop talking
Yeah.
jargon and stop talking, like you're a smart person, right? Like, me and you go through executive training all the
Like,
time,
are we
right?
at risk or not?
Yeah, yeah, but we go through
That's what
executive
the
training.
executive wants to know.
Yeah, they're you don't come in there to be smart when you're talking with
No.
these people. You come in there
No
to
matter how
do.
smart you are, it's kind of a shout out to our coach. No matter how smart you are, it doesn't matter. It's how you communicate.
Yeah, and are you doing of service to the person you're communicating with, right?
Right.
How can I help them? Saying
Right.
the score is 900 does not help
Did I
them
get an
because
A?
yeah, it does not help them. Yeah, like, what is that? Yeah, is that an A? Is that an A plus?
Did I pass? Like,
That's a
what's
good way
happening,
to put it.
Cameron?
Yeah, you passed. You got a critical.
Oh, great. No,
Now you got
that's
owned.
opposite. You got an F.
So, I mean, like, I don't know. As an industry, I keep seeing it happen, and I keep prompting this question, and I just don't get it. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I mean, show me all the numbers you want. At the end of the day, I'm still gonna ask you, like, am I at risk or not? Yes or no? Binary.
Yeah, yeah.
And for something like that, it's cool that they consider all the dimensions. But it grinds my gears when I think about, like, what I wanna know all those dimensions. Like, if people are really talking about it, like, are they getting ready for something big and it's not being exploited yet? Like, I could ask a lot of questions based on the subscores beneath that number.
No.
So that individual number tells me nothing, not to mention I can adjust it so I can make it tell whatever story I want. Now it's like, well, how are we gonna standardize as an industry? See, now
But it
you're
all,
grinding my gears. I'm gonna stop.
well, it comes back to like usually these risk scores, they say that they invented them and they have them for prioritization, right? Literally, that's what they say. It's like it's for prioritization, right? If you see a critical, how do I know it's a critical, right? How do I know I should work on this critical versus that critical? And I'm like, that's great, and I agree with you. The problem is that it's still just not clear at times, right? You could have, what if you
Yeah.
have 10 criticals? I mean, I guess you'll work on the 900 one, right? Versus the 850 one first. But I still don't think that's enough, right? Because they're
Yeah.
just telling you the risk, right? And one of my favorite interviewing questions I love to give people is you have a critical, five mediums, or sorry, two highs, five mediums, and one low, right? The critical will take you 2 weeks to fix. The high will take you a week and a half. The mediums and lows will take you an hour. Which vulnerabilities do you start working on first?
I'm afraid to answer that question right now. I don't wanna fail in front of everybody.
I mean, I think it's
I mean,
subjective.
going off
The answer is
classic.
really subjective, right? It's because it
Well,
comes down to
yeah,
what is the actual risk, right? Because in that question, the first thing you should ask is the critical exploitable? Is the medium or is
that's where I was
the
gonna go
high?
next, is like,
Okay.
is the low or one of the lows exploitable, whereas the critical is not? Because I'm gonna focus on what can actually put me at real risk, and now we're bringing it back to the risk score. Like, if you can exploit a vulnerability that I'm exposed to, I wanna focus there first. I don't care if it's critical, high, or medium, or low. If I can get popped because of it, address that one first.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, what if they
Maybe I
all
pass or not, but that's my opinion.
what if they're all exploitable and they're you can get popped from every one of them?
Cameron, always making it hard. I mean, at that point, it's like you can't win, right?
You can totally
So
win. I don't agree with you
yeah,
there.
eventually you
I'm
can
gonna I'm gonna
eventually win.
I'll then I'll go in the hot seat so that
Tell
you
me the
can.
answer, Cameron, so that I
I
can pass when I interview for your team.
there you go. Um, I don't think this. I'm not saying this is the right answer or there's a wrong answer. I'm saying what I would do. Would it be right? I don't know. I'd work on the highs first, right? The highs take an hour. Knock out the highs. Then I would reassess the mediums and lows are only going to take you. I said what, 5 minutes? Knock those
I
out real
thought you
quick.
said the highs were a week and the mediums
I don't
were, I
remember
don't
what I said.
remember. The
I don't.
mediums and lows were like an hour, I think.
I think I don't remember, but whatever.
The time aside, I mean,
Yeah,
you want to focus on the highest impact stuff at the end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah. I mean, either what I think is like, is that risk going to be out there for how long? Right. The critical is going to take you 2 weeks no matter what. Whereas you can probably ship maybe the high fix or one of the or the mediums and
Right.
lows quicker. Right. Let's try to reduce the security. And the other question is, why is this all in parallel? Right. That's I've had
Not
somebody.
reduce the security, reduce the risk, increase the security.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was talking to one of this is one of the people I hired. He asked me, "Why is it a parallel? Why is it not a parallel task?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that is like I was floored. I was like, man, you were thinking here, right? Because it's not.
Like, I think I know who you're talking about right now.
You're not thinking, and like right, like a lot of people just
You're
think, oh, I
thinking
gotta.
individually,
Yeah,
like, I
everyone
have to
always
do it
thinks that.
all,
Yeah, you don't,
whereas
right? You have a
this is
team.
a multi-core processor, man. There's a team. You
Yeah,
got 10 people, split them up,
yeah.
reduce the risk faster.
And I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking literally when I asked the question, and when they
That's
tossed that out there,
amazing.
I was like, "Oh man, you just blew this question wide open. How did I not think? Oh man, I got to rethink my thought process for the questions I give because that was awesome."
I know how they got the job.
It's
That's
definitely
that's great.
when people can think in that way and kind of just, I don't know. I think we all get stuck in our own ways at times, right? And I think breaking out of those boxes, learning, making sure to question everything that we take as a fact, um, always helps us a lot in cybersecurity.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also to put a leadership perspective in there. we're the leaders doesn't mean we're always right. Sometimes you bring this is why we build teams around us, because the different perspectives are extremely valuable when they're brought together, and you never know what you're going to learn from your people.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have to know it all. You just have to bring together the right team to get to the right place and where you want to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And all the time you have to reassess, your opinions, choices, and the world changes so much that
Absolutely.
you have to in cybersecurity, you have to be like, okay, well, yes, yesterday certificate pinning was the right way to go, but now there's this whole new attack vector, so you can't certificate pin.
Yeah. I think it's like I said, always be listening to the different perspectives, and you'd be amazed at what you can learn from people and how you shift directions and ultimately end up in a better spot.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got to wrap this sucker up. So, any final words, wisdom? Do you have a quote or something you want to tell us before we wrap this sucker up?
And you always put me in the hot seat, man.
It's
Like I don't
fun.
have.
It's
I
you.
wish.
Your eyes go like a deer in headlights. It's great.
Oh man, like I wish I had quotes from you so I could just like spin your words back on you. I
Uh,
nothing comes to mind, man. We've
all right, I
we've
got
had a
one.
fun conversation, so you do it.
My favorite one is the truth is always in the code.
How you do it. I've heard you say that before.
It's my email signature too.
Oh, that's probably why I know it, because I actually read signatures occasionally.
Yep. Alrighty, Kurt. Well, thanks for joining us on another Friday, knocking out this awesome podcast of coffee, chaos, and ProdSec.
Been
Today's
through the
session, the
gauntlet.
Gauntlet. I was going there.
Got it.
It was a good session, good healthy talk, and I appreciate it. For our listeners, I hope to see you next week. Hit the subscribe button, the follow button wherever we upload
Whatever
this
it
thing.
says.
Yeah. Next week we'll have another episode. As long as we stay on track, and every week we're getting a little more on track and a little more, I would say, good at
Yeah.
this.
I think we're talking about trends next week.
Is it trends? Oh,
I
okay.
won't. I mean, I could reveal the title. I got the list in front of me because I was
No.
prepared for today, unlike
I
somebody.
mean, the only thing is, what if we just side change it up, right? What if next week,
All right,
a
fine.
different awesome, crazy vulnerability happens, and we're like, hey, we're gonna spend a whole session talking about this.
We're always talking about trends anyway. So whatever next week ends up being, join us. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Thank you, and take care.